Have you ever wondered whether it's possible to make locomotive wheels without a casting? Today I'm going to show you how, cutting these wheels using a rotary table and a milling machine. Welcome to the Fell Engine project, where I'm building a 3.5 inch gauge live steam locomotive to my own drawings. Right, today we're starting work over at the mill. I have the rotary table set up and a digital readout zeroed on the centre of the rotary table. I'm fitting the wheel blank that I made in the last episode onto the mandrel that we used in the lathe. This holds in 20mm collet, so it's easy to interchange. The only difference was I've added a small spacer so I don't cut up the mandrel. First step to making these spokes is removing the bulk material. I'm going to do this in a couple of stages, first with these pilot holes. Pilot holes drilled, I switched chucks, moving to an ER32 collet chuck and a 12mm end mill. The reason I'm using an end mill instead of a drill bit is I'm cutting through the curved face, and a drill bit will want to walk away from the edge of this. This makes the pilot hole really important because end mills don't cut efficiently at their centre. Often don't even have flutes at the centre. While we're drilling these holes, it's probably worth discussing how they're located. At this point the x-axis is zeroed, and I'm using the y-axis to set the radius. For the rotary table, I've divided that by the number of holes, in this case 8, so the holes are 45 degrees apart. Right, with that done, let's get on to cutting the spokes. My tool of choice today is a 6mm carbide end mill. This works for my corner radiuses, and I thought I'd try a solid carbide option for a change. These are meant to stay sharper and be more rigid. The main downside is they're more expensive, but if you don't do anything stupid, then they last longer. So you're probably better to stick with high-speed steel if you're a beginner, so definitely don't hurt your pocket as much if you chip one. To cut these spokes, I've offset the x-axis by half the thickness of the spoke and the end mill diameter. So I want my spokes to be 3.2mm thick, my end mill is 6mm diameter, so my offset's half both of those combined, so 4.6mm, and I repeat this offset on both sides of the spoke. Making my cuts in 2 passes, 5mm at a time. That's quite a lot of cutting depth for a 6mm end mill, so I'm taking it gently. As you can see, I'm using the y-axis to make my cuts, and I'm using the digital readout to locate the extents of it. Now let's get on to cutting the outer curve. At this point the x-axis is at 0. I use the Y-axis to set the radius, and I'm using the rotary table to make the cut. I'm actually making the full depth of cut in one pass, and taking a second spring pass to ensure a clean finish. While I'm at it, I'm also doing the internal radius. This seemed faster than setting up again to make that cut. Once all the cuts are made, it's time to remove the wheel from the mandrel. And as you can see, I had it locked down pretty tightly. This is because you really don't want the wheel to rotate on the mandrel, otherwise the wheel will be ruined. The next stop is the bench for some filing. There's a lot of machining marks to get rid of, and I also want to curve the front edges of the spokes. This will make the spokes look lighter and thinner, like the prototype. Right, next I mask up the wheels. For this I'm using a combination of painter's tape and electrical tape, just to ensure I get a really good tight seal. The next step, I'm going to use a sandblasting cabinet. I saw someone do this recently on a stationary engine, sandblasting the machine parts to make them look like a casting. It looked really good, so I thought it was worth giving a go. I'm using garnet for my blast media, and what this process is going to do is remove the machining marks, soften the corners, and give a good surface for the paint to stick to. Right, there we go, it's all done. Right, now for some painting. These I've gone with a semi-gloss finish, and I'm using a spray can. I've been using this type of paint around the workshop quite a bit, and it seems very durable, so I thought it'd be a good choice for these wheels. I apply the paint in multiple passes so I get into all the corners without putting too much paint on. Once this is dry, I gave it a couple more coats. Now to the wheels with the masking removed. These have turned out a lot better than I was ever hoping for. I spent quite a bit of time filing the spokes, and I think that's really paid off. The spokes look a lot thinner than they actually are. The media blasting worked really well for removing the machine marks, so I couldn't be happier with these. So if you're considering a project and finding wheels is a problem, think about making them from scratch. Maybe not if you need 10 of them though. They are a little time consuming. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with a friend. And I'll catch you next time.